Now let us take a look at the definition of value added, non-value added and business value added activities. Before that, I strongly recommend you to go through the chart. And I'm sure you are surprised by looking at the numbers. Only 5% of the steps are value added and about 15% of them are business value added and remaining 80% of them are non-value added. So this is not uncommon to find the percentages below. As much as 80 to 95% of a process, right, has non-value added activity or non-value added activities. So how do you define a non-value added activity versus value added activity versus business value added activity? So here, first of all, we need to categorize any activity into one of these three. But can you tell me one thing? If I eliminate non-value added activities, can the process quality be improved? And what do you think we should be focusing on? Should we focus on just value added or business value added or non-value added? So for simplicity's sake, I think since the graphic shows that the non-valued activities are in red, probably we may have to focus on eliminating those non-value added activities, because these are the activities that consume time, space and other resources without adding value from the customer's perspective. Now tell me, what is a business value add activity? Activities that are required to operate the business, something like a regulatory requirements, SOX complaints, payment card industry guidelines, or anything, okay, which is governed by the government or governing laws or authorities and all. So here the what may be mandatory, but how may be at our discretion, which means I'll tell you one layman example after I cover the value added activity. In general, please pay attention to this and note down any activity which is value added or which has to be regarded as value added by the customer. First and foremost, customer should be willing to pay for it. And value added activities are those done right the first time. And they change the form, fit or function of the product or service being delivered, which means from one step to another step there is some enhancement. And most importantly, value is defined by the customer. I'll tell you one basic example here. If you were to commute from home to office, okay, right now there is no teleportation as such. So you have to commute by your bike or by your four-wheeler, right? So the actual time it takes for you to commute from your home to office, right? It is the value added. And let us assume there are no intersections or there is no stopping in between and all, which means you cannot avoid that and it is required because you are expected to reach office on time. Let's assume there is an intersection in between. And what would you do? You have to stop. Because if you don't stop at the intersection, cops are going to chase you, or there are chances where you might get hurt by meeting with an accident. So stopping at the intersection is a business value added activity, which means if you stop at the intersection, actually it doesn't add value to your boss or to any of your colleagues who are at the office. All they are expecting is you have to come to office on time. You cannot cite the reason saying that I stopped at the junction. And at the same time, they never care about whether you stop at the junction or you don't stop at the junction and all. But we have to stop because it is governed by the law. Then you might wonder, why should I stop if it is a business value added? You start ahead of time, 5 minutes ahead, and probably try to balance this. This is about the second step in the commute. And third one is you have the habit of stopping for a smoke or stopping in between, okay, to have some, pick up some coffee or tea or whatever it is, and you're spending about 10 to 15 minutes. So that, in my opinion, is a non-value added activity. Because here it is consuming a lot of time, and because of which you may be reaching late to the office, right? So this is how the value is defined. And why should we improve the quality? How should we improve the quality? If at all we are able to eliminate the non-value added activities, then our process will become more efficient and there will be less room for the error. When you eliminate the steps, okay, which are not required, okay, you are also trying to eliminate the chance of defects in that step or error in the handoff. Eliminating non-valued activities has a significant impact on reducing the time, cost, resources, required to complete the work. And remember, we need to streamline and improve the process first. Then seek to automate the improved process. Because Microsoft founder Bill Gates has mentioned the same thing. If you are trying to automate an inefficient process, the inefficiencies will be magnified. Similarly, if you are automating an efficient process, then efficiencies will be magnified. So that is about process value.